Let me tell you something most people learn too late. Talent is a beautiful lie. From the day we are born, the world whispers it into our ears, sometimes gently, sometimes cruelly. He's gifted. She's a natural. You either have it or you don't. And slowly, without us noticing, this lie builds a cage around our lives. Because when we believe talent is everything, what happens the moment we fail? We quit. I am an old man now. I have seen brilliant minds disappear into silence. I have watched gifted children grow into bitter adults. And I have seen ordinary people, painfully ordinary, rise so high that the world called them extraordinary, not because they were special, but because they stayed. There was a woman named Angela Duckworth. She spent years studying success, not the loud kind, but the real kind, the kind that lasts. She studied soldiers, spelling bee champions, athletes, teachers, CEOs, students who should have failed but didn't. And after all the data, all the numbers, all the charts, she found something unsettling, something uncomfortable, something that makes excuses tremble. Success did not belong to the smartest. It did not belong to the fastest. It did not belong to the most talented. It belonged to the ones who refused to stop. She called it grit. Now listen carefully. Grit is not motivation. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Grit stays when the storm arrives. Grit is not passion, the way Instagram sells it to you. Loud, shiny, exciting. No. Grit is quiet, unpopular, often lonely. Grit is waking up on a day when nothing excites you and still doing the work. Let me ask you something. Have you ever started something, felt amazing for a week, maybe a month, and then slowly the fire faded, the progress slowed, the praise disappeared, the results refused to show up, and one day you told yourself, maybe this just isn't for me? That moment, right there, that is where lives quietly collapse. Talent loves the beginning. Grit survives the middle. And the middle is where most people die. Angela Duckworth discovered a simple but terrifying formula. Talent times effort equals skill. But then comes the part nobody likes to talk about. Skill times effort equals achievement. Effort shows up twice. Talent shows up once. Let that sink in. Talent can open a door, but only effort keeps it open, and effort is painful. Effort means being bad at something longer than your ego can tolerate. Effort means practicing when no one is watching. Effort means failing so often that failure stops hurting. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they cannot endure boredom. Let me tell you a story. At the United States Military Academy at West Point, new cadets go through something called Beast Barracks. It is brutal, physically, mentally, emotionally. Every year, the Academy tries to predict who will survive. They look at test scores, athletic ability, leadership experience, intelligence. And every year, they are wrong. The strongest quit. The smartest quit. The most confident quit. And the ones who survive, not the best, the grittiest. The ones who, when exhausted, say, just one more step. And then say it again and again. This is where the lie of talent finally dies. Because grit doesn't care who you were yesterday. It only asks one question. Will you keep going today? You see, talent is fragile. The moment a talented person fails, their identity shatters. I thought I was good at this, so they walk away. But gritty people expect failure. They welcome it. They don't ask, why am I bad at this? They ask, how can I get better? Here is something nobody prepares you for. If you chase anything meaningful, you will spend far more time feeling inadequate than inspired. That is not a flaw. That is the price. Most people don't lack discipline. They lack patience. They want progress without boredom, growth without discomfort, victory without scars. But life does not work that way, and it never has. Grit means falling in love with the long road, the road where no one claps, no one notices, no one cares except you. Angela Duckworth noticed something else. Passion, real passion, does not begin as certainty. It begins as curiosity. You don't wake up one day knowing your life's purpose. You stumble into it, you test, you fail, you adjust, and slowly, interest turns into commitment. Commitment turns into identity. But here's the tragedy. Most people quit during the awkward phase, the phase where you're no longer excited, but not yet good. That phase destroys dreams. Not because people can't succeed, but because they cannot endure being unseen. Let me speak to you honestly now. If you are waiting to feel confident before you continue, you will be waiting forever. Confidence is not the cause of grit. Grit is the cause of confidence. Every master you admire was once painfully average. The difference? They didn't interpret struggle as a sign to stop. They interpreted it as a sign to continue. And now, I will tell you something harsh, but true. Your potential means nothing. Potential is a promise you must keep. And most people break it. Grit is not glamorous. It doesn't look good in quotes. It doesn't trend, but it builds empires, quietly, relentlessly. So before you tell yourself, I'm not talented enough, ask yourself this instead. Have I stayed long enough to find out? Pause. Let silence breathe. This is only the beginning. Because grit is not just about effort. It is about purpose, about failure, about hope when nothing works. And that is where the real story begins.